The fear and greed index is now at 11. It continues to go down. But again, at this point, we shouldn't really be surprised based off of how the market is reacting. But welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP family. Thank you so much for all the love. Let's take a closer look and see what's happening as we are going into Thursday morning as of November 20th. So looking across the board, we're seeing some coins up, some coins are rebounding as we could see across the board, which again is nice to see. XRP is down about 1%, but before we get into it any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So XRP price $2.12, down 1% on the USD side of things, down 1.7% on the Bitcoin side of things. Valuation 128 billion and the 24-hour trading volume at 6 billion. But let's take a look at some of the news, and then we'll kind of come back and talk about the price itself. So take a look at this. Bitcoin whales showing increasing interest. So Bitcoin whale transactions over $100,000. I'm sorry, yeah, over $100,000 and 1 million just has gone up. This week has a good chance of ending up as the most active whale week of 2025, meaning whales are accumulating Bitcoins, a dip that we're seeing right now. But again, I when we talk about whales, this is massive institutions coming in because majority of the capital, as we have been kind of talking about, has been coming from the bigger players. So again, speaks for itself, and the demand factor for Bitcoin, I think, is not going to slow down. Even if the price of Bitcoin were to retest my targets, which I think it will, I'm very confident we've come very close to that. And that would complete the wave. After that, we'll obviously, analyze it from a different scale. But in order for us to complete this wave that we're seeing, it needs to get down to $86,000. But right now, we've seen a little bit of a bounce, might, bounce back up to 94, breaking out of that, maybe takes it back up to 96, 97K range, but I'm still not buying it. I think ultimately the price is still going to retest these levels before we can start talking about, the next step for Bitcoin. But let's take a look at this. BlackRock has registered a staked ETH Trust ETF, signaling its shift beyond its flagship spot ETH product. So as we know, BlackRock is the biggest asset manager. Obviously, we talk about, people speculate upon, BlackRock, filing for other crypto ETFs. As of now, they only got two. They have the Bitcoin one, and of course, they have the Ethereum one. And of course, the question that everyone asks is, why are they not going and filing for a Solana ETF? Why are they not filing it for an XRP ETF? Because again, a lot of competition out there, a lot of big players coming on board with these two other coins. But again, I think these guys are thinking strategically. And as I've stated to you guys before, I think there will come a time where we do see these ETFs going live from BlackRock themselves, but I'm pretty sure that they're not just going to come out and launch it right away. They might be waiting for something. Again, I don't really know. We can just sit here and speculate all day long. But again, nonetheless, I'm sure they're not really worried, because anytime they were to come and even launch it, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the leaders for the ETF inflows coming on board, and they would become, the staple when it comes to the issuers itself. And it just goes back to, what I said, with the Ethereum ETF, with BlackRock, as well as, the Bitcoin one. And they are the biggest asset manager. So a lot of obviously inflows could come in from them, from their ETF directly. So that's that. But speaking about ETFs, take a look at this. We're looking at Bitcoin saw inflows about of 75 million, and ETH saw about 37 million outflows. But what's interesting right here is Solana saw 55.6 million inflows, and XRP at about 16 million. I know some people are going to come out and say, well, Solana is outpacing this and that. Well, Solana has 6 spot ETFs now. 6 spot ETFs. Historical moment. You guys need to kind of step away and give credit where it belongs. Again, I know XRP Army loves XRP itself, but that doesn't mean you cannot give credit to another project, because this industry needs to move together. We just cannot be like, oh, this coin cannot, move. This coin cannot succeed. It's just not like that. You need to want this entire industry to move. And again, speaks for itself. And again, XRP has only one spot ETF right now, as of now, and 16 million, quite impressive in these market conditions. So again, very, very nice thing to kind of keep in mind. But speaking about ETF, Bitwise XRP ETF is to go live today. You can see Bitwise XRP ETF is set to begin trading tomorrow on the New York Stock Exchange. So it is today. The listed ticker appears to be XRP. Not sure if there is a mistake or absolute perfection, but either way, it's going to get attention. And you can see for yourself, this gained a lot of traction, this tweet by Bank XRP. You can see Hunter has obviously completely, confirmed this overall thing that yes, this is not a mistake. This is actually happening. So XRP about to get, a live second spot ETF. Again, very, very impressive. Big stuff happening, of course. But let's move forward and take a look at this. So great volume close on XRPC. And average volume is at about 1.3 million dollars. And look what chat says. I'm looking to see nearly 10 million in XRP to be added tomorrow morning. Strong day 5. Again, big numbers already in such a short span of time. It hasn't even been a week. But take a look at this ISO 222. As we know, this has been getting implemented now within the financial infrastructure. You can see all payment infrastructure. All payment instructions must shift to ISO 222 by November 2025. Plus, Ripple can exchange payment instructions with Swift through its Earthport integration. So remember, where XRP comes into play when it comes to the ISO standard is, RippleNet is actually ISO compliant. So that's where XRP is a focal point in that overall structure. So that's where that connection really lies. But very, very interesting to kind of keep in mind. But let's take a look at what's happening with the price. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, you can see the dominance has picked up over the last 2 days. You can see that clearly, and it is gaining strength. Something we want to kind of keep very close eye on. If you're looking at Bitcoin, on the other hand, I've already highlighted what's happening with Bitcoin. We're seeing a little bit of a bounce over the last 24 hours. It was about a 5% bounce for Bitcoin. It went back into the 0.50, but again, rejected back into the 61.8 fib zone. Again, we were able to reach a new monthly low. I still think 86K is on the table. Might see a little bit of a bounce if we're able to break above 94K range. So that's something I want you guys to kind of keep in mind. Maybe, we do see a little bit of a fake out up towards these levels to shake out the weekends, but ultimately I'm still not, too confident that, the price has reached its lows. Still think 86K, very important level to be watching for myself. But with that said, let's take a look at what's happening with the XRP. So, with the new monthly low that we set for ourselves for Bitcoin today, that's definitely going to have an impact on XRP. And you can clearly see for yourself $2.02. Again, a level that we have not seen for quite some time. Not surprising me at all, but you can see we have rebounded since then because Bitcoin did see a little bit of a bounce and XRP went up 6%. So, hovering around $2.11. But again, we need to kind of keep in mind as to, where Bitcoin is currently sitting. Obviously, if Bitcoin is able to see a little bit of a bounce, maybe up to, some of these levels around 96, 97K key range, I do expect, XRP is going to show that correlation and strength against Bitcoin. And I do expect, we could reclaim back up to, where we were just a day and a half ago, and obviously some of these levels where we were at prior. But again, I still think we need Bitcoin to retest some of these lower levels before we could start heading up towards the upside. As far as the bull market extension is concerned, I've already highlighted this to you guys, given you guys my take on that. Specifically when it comes to a QE standpoint, that is very interesting. And Bitcoin, again, is something we just want to be looking very closely to. That is going to give us a little bit of a better understanding as to what happens going into 2026. Because again, XRP has reacted very positively, with Bitcoin. It is one of the best performing assets. So with Solana, BNB, so on and so forth. So that's why, we focus on Bitcoin. And that's why, Bitcoin is something I'm paying so much attention to right now, because this is going to give us a better understanding as to, how the overall year of 2026 is going to look like. And, the 4-year cycle, in my opinion, no longer exists at this point based off of what we've already seen. And I'm starting to agree with some of these analysts, but altcoins, speaking about altcoins, what a lot of people don't understand is in a grand scheme of things, we're actually in a bull market still. Again, look at XRP. It's one of the coins that has held really nicely. even Solana, BNB, so on and so forth. There's so many coins that we can list, but altcoins in general, obviously due to the coins, there's so many coins out there in the space now. It's obviously oversaturated. That is obviously one big factor. But what we need to kind of understand, what a lot of people overlook, is 2025 overall was not a big year for alts. So we haven't really seen any sort of an excitement coming in. So that's why you want to be paying attention to QE. Maybe that brings in liquidity. So that's something I'm gonna kind of keep in mind still. And obviously QE is starting now, and historically speaking, last time QE started, we have seen prices going absolutely insane on the crypto side of things. Will that happen again? We'll see, right? That is where the time factor comes into play. 2026 is a very important year, because not only is it going to be telling us whether or not this market is going to be extended, but there's a lot of things happening, especially from a regulation standpoint. A lot of TradeFi and DeFi come in together. Big institutions coming on board. We could see much more ETFs going live, maybe indexes launching. So I'm very optimistic in the long perspective. I'm very, very optimistic, as you guys can see. And I've been for the last 10 years. And speaking about 10 years, I haven't actually marked 10 years in the crypto space yet, but 2026 will do that. So again, we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What are your overall, thoughts on that? And we'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace.